Welcome everybody to the Brooklyn Racing League. This is the GT3 Sprint Championship, round 10 here at VIR. And thank you Digital Warrior for the Prime sub. That happened while we were just getting set up here. Folks, 10 minutes and 53 seconds left in practice, and then we'll get on to qualifying, and then we'll get on this race. FLX_Sims, how's it going? This is a special one, because this is going to be a 75-minute race. So, it's going to be a two-stopper. If we get a safety car, it could possibly be a one-stop race, depending on when that safety car comes out. There's Brendan Liu into the barrier there. Now, going over to the Drivers' Championship, the standings as follow for each category. The pro drivers of Gage Hines leads with 6,924 points. Peter Flanner, who's in second, who has 6,354 points. Decent gap there, as Jeff Koffold is in third, the teammate of Gage Hines, and he sits at 5,909 points. Does BWR, do we have a dirt league? No, unfortunately, the only thing you'll get dirt adjacent is on Wednesdays. We have ARCA Oval Racing, and they do street courses as well. They have been known, ARCA has been known to do some dirt ovals in the ARCA car. I had to remember correctly, gosh, I can't think of my ovals right now. Bristol, I think they did Bristol in the dirt, but that would be the only one I could think of. That's the only time. The Pro-Am drivers, Connor Burns is leading with 5,594 points to Elliot A. Burton, who's in second, and not that far behind in second because he has 5,553 points. So, less than 50-point difference between those two drivers. Dylan M. Thomas is in third with 4,762 points. And then the AM class of Andrew Simmons leads with 4,434 points to Ryan Chandler, who's behind about 300-ish points, who's sitting in second with 4,128 points. Angel Melo Soto is in third with 3,931 points. Now, you can keep asking questions if you want. It's not a big distraction at all. I respond to all the comments. And it's welcome. Brendan Liu leads the rookies, as current promotions have been set and settled from the first half of the season. So Brendan Liu, who's got 2,852 points, to Louis. Is it Louis? Lewis? Man, I forgot. Let's see it. Lewis. Like Lewis. It is Lewis. My bad there, Lewis. Lewis M. Santana has 2,498 points. Big-ish difference. About 300 points difference there. That could all be wrapped up by the end, though, with 2 rounds to go. Michael Lucan is in third with 2,389 points. So not that much of a gap for the rookies battling out there in the standings for P1 there. Richard Burns Rally. That is technically dirt. They do. That is true. That's close. Whoa! Look at that. The old 1-2. That was Dylan M. Thomas and I think Angel Melo Soto. I'd assume. A little tap there. The Valhalla Batgirls of Gage Hines and Jeff Koffold. They're sitting in first place in the team standings with 14,205 points. That's crazy. Draft Point Gold of Elliot A. Burton and Peter Flanner have 13,260 points. Valhalla's Motorsports of Austin J. McGill and Colin Pepper have 11,615 points. Big gaps between those three teams. Valhalla of Brandon G. Burns and Connor Burns in 4th. Thunder Thighs of Dylan M. Thomas and Jacob Simmons in 5th. Tachyon Simsport of Andrew Frankie Joshua D. in 6th. Jason Alvarez Motorsports with Forrest Holland and Matt Hissong in 7th. Paxman of John Javecki, William Westbrook in 8th. Carrera Azteca, Mark Foley, Marshall Scari in 9th. E3 Motorsports of Ryan and Reagan Chandler in 10th. Mid-Pack Mafia of Angel Vanilla Soto and Axel Marquez in 11th. Bottoms Racing of Jake Jackson and Michael Soto in 12th. Captain Global Motorsports of Craig Carroll and Sidney Outser in 13th. The Wrong Stuff of Andrew Korostecki and Jason Daly. R.I.P. to Andrew Korostecki for this race. He's ran his course. He's done too much for the day, and he's just going to watch this one. Hopefully his teammate can pull out some points for him. Is his teammate even here? Jason Daly. I don't see him on the board. I see a Jensen, James, Joshua, Joe. I don't see a Jason. Besides someone commented, Joshua D. Nope. It looks like both The Wrong Stuff are not here tonight. Pod Racing of Daryl Carrington, Todd Bumor in 15. Faith Fueled Motorsports of Louis Rosas and Louis M. Santana in 16. Avidity Racing of Alec Perez is still here in 17, but he hasn't raced in a while. But there you go, folks. There's the standings. We're going to be underway with 4 minutes and 38 seconds left to go in practice to get on to this very, very, very special race. We're going to factor this season now, you know. If you're terrible at GT3s, you got to just keep trying. Because you gain speeds. I mean, we could highlight some of these drivers just in general. First person that comes to mind has to be like Alex Zier. He was an AM class driver when he started in this series. I don't know where he's at right now. Is he even on the... Is he out there? I'm trying to scroll. We have a lot of new drivers that have joined us for this race as well, so... man, I wish I could just, like, filter on people easier than this, but I can't. I have to go line by line here. Alexander Parameter. Nope, that's not him. What's up with all of our drivers? They're not here. Well, I was just going to say, Alex Zier is one of those drivers. Oh, he can't. His internet, yeah. I forgot about that. I just remembering in the chat. Yeah, his internet's down. And he twisted his deck? I don't even know what that means. Yeah. Yeah, someone. I don't know who it is. But anyway, Alex Zier is... he was the champion, dominated the AM class in spectacular fashion. And then he went... That was in season 14. And then in season 18... he won the Pro-Am Championship. And, you know, he's doing well. You have Braden Daniels, who's now in the pros. He won the Pro-Am Championship at one point. Jeff Koffold is in the pros as well. He won the Pro-Am Championship. Marshall Scari's in the pros. He was a Pro-Am champion as well. Austin J. McGill's won the first Pro-Am Championship when we started the Pro-Am Championship. Or when the Pro-Ams divided, we had pros, then we switched to a new class in the Pro-Ams. Austin J. McGill was the first winner of that one. He's now in the pros. He's quick. So, and then you have Elliot A. Burton, who's in the Pro-Am Championship right now. But I would say he has just luck. Luck isn't on his side a lot of the time, but he's won the championship for the Pro-Ams, and he's second in the championship right now, and he's been second and third in the championships most of since this Pro-Am Championship has shown up. He's quick. He's faster than some pros out there. But yeah. Chop the cable. Well, Sims, for the Discord, there are some people that will show up in like the racing chat to hang out, but that's usually for ARCA. ARCA is more of a group conversation where everyone's just hanging out. Whoa, somebody just chopped over that driver. For the GT3 series, the Sprint series, a lot of these drivers are in groups with themselves. So, like, I can show you one right here. Let's see. Nope, not that driver. Where is it? Okay, you see these Valhalla drivers with the Valhalla liveries? That's you know, that's a maroon color. They say brown, but I say maroon. It looks pretty maroon to me. Anyway, those guys are all in a chat, in a voice call on their own team Discord for sure. They say they don't speak that much, and you know, sometimes quite opposite, but those guys are all together. And then you have some other drivers that are in teams. So you have a bunch of duo teams. Everyone, Draft Punk Goal is probably right there, out there hanging out. You got Nick Mazza, he's probably in a chat with Dylan M. Thomas. There might be more. That is practice said and done. We'll just quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll get going. Okay, we're back, and just to be fair, Andrew, that's purple, right? Or am I... You saying pink? It's not hot pink, then. Hot pink? Now I'm just being gaslit here. That's really pink? I would say that's purple. Pinkle. I've been saying purple Pams. You made them. Are you saying that's pink? I've literally called them the Purple Pams since season 12. That is gotta be purple. I can't be gaslit into pink. That is 100% pink? Is that really the consensus? Have I been just getting this wrong this entire time and no one's told me until now? That is ridiculous. Connor Burns is going to be the first driver in the purple Pams. The pink Pams? The Pro-Ams. Because Pams. P/AM Pams. Alright, well at least you guys got that part. The pink Pams doesn't have a good ring to it. It is the Corvette Mustang all over again. I definitely will never live that one down. Connor Burns is going to be the first driver to take us to... Maybe not. He's not going to take this one too seriously. He's trying to get some temps in the tires. Alright, well, it's saying they have times on the board, but that was their out lap. Everything is strange when we go to VIR. Open setups for the series. Where are the track temps at? Well, your local weather guide, also part-time broadcaster. Virginia International Raceway, Alton, USA, partly cloudy at 28 degrees Celsius. The track temperature is 32 degrees Celsius with winds at 6 kph going southwest. The humidity is at 50% with 0 precipitation, 0% fog, and the track wetness is dry. There you go. It's saying people qualified, but everyone is... This would be their actual first lap. So, I don't know what to think about that. That's happened before, where it counts the entire out lap. Thank you. But yeah, no. Going Colin Pepper here, who is a quick driver. He wasn't the quickest in practice. I think he was 13th or 14th. But now we're going to get... These laps are more reflective of what we're going to see. A 145.25 isn't going to be the quickest. 144.8. I go over to a driver like Gage here, who's crossing the line and tops the charts. And we'll just stay on board with Gage as he goes one more lap around. And we'll see if he is able to hold on to P1 provisionally for another lap. If anyone could dethrone him within this one lap. Still holding on to it at the moment. Now, Sims, just another note there. Yeah, when you see... You say orange? You're saying orange or gold? I don't even know what you said for that. Orange. It was orange. Or at least I got a couple. It's teal? That's blue. That's sky blue. That's like baby blue, by the way. That's a baby blue. I don't know. Teal is more like... I don't know. That's... my bad. I mean, that's... It's crazy. I mean, if you look at this car right here, that's clearly maroon. But I might be wrong. Alright, back on board with the driver. Famously through this couple of corners here, the reason why we have blue flags, and a rule for blue flags, Sims, this would be a great moment. When we go to racing, and the drivers at the front of the grid start to lap the back of the pack, it is the drivers at the back that are supposed to react with a... Oh, Peter Planner just set the fastest lap, and John Javecki in second. Gage Hines, can he respond? And Gage does, with 144.127. Eat more carrots or something? Carrots have nothing to do with eyesight, or is it eyesight? Is that what it is? No, I think I'm just colorblind. Or you're colorblind. That's clearly purple. Anyway. So yeah, you have your orange drivers or your pros. The Pro-Ams are your middle class. So they're the differentiation of being pro. And they're not quite pro, but they're not quite AM. But then you have your teal. I'm going to air quote teal. That's a sky blue. Baby blue even. Angel Vanilla Soto and Axel Marquez are in the AM class. That is our drivers that are performing just slightly slower than the other drivers around them. For these two AM class drivers, not at the moment. But then the red, the rookies, they're just unclassable at the moment because they don't have enough races to make calculations that they're actually within one of the three classes that we race under. Cyan, I would agree with Cyan. But I would not agree with teal. Mind you, there's probably like that's... What is that, blue? That's blue. Connor Burns now fastest lap for the Pro-Ams there. He's first. So when you're looking at the leaderboard here, the overall is just strictly the overall. It's all on the left, 1 through however many drivers we have here in this race. 49 drivers have entered this race. 48 have qualified. One of them has yet to do that. But then when you're looking at the class section, that is within their class. It looks fine from 1 through 7, and then you'll see Aiden Gertz is technically 8th in class, 9th overall. The manufacturer there for the car that they're driving. Their car number, there's a little outline around their car number. Ooh. That outline around their car number is when they go to pit, that outline will go away. It's a mandatory one stop for for every race besides this one specific race. This is a 75-minute race, so they're gonna have to stop twice. But the moment they enter the pits and they've gone up on the jacks or just taken fuel, they will remove that outline, signifying that they have submitted their pit stop, their required pit stop for this race. But again, they're gonna have to pit twice. unless a safety car. We do have, that checks out like multi-class buffering. Yeah, pretty much. The interval is to the driver strictly just ahead of them. Right now, that interval is for their lap time that they've best set so far. 4 championships, 1 overall championship winner, and that's usually is the pro. There was a contention, though. One of the rookies was close enough to win the actual overall championship. I think it happened in season 16, maybe, or season, I think it was 16 or 15 or 16. There was a driver in the rookies that was placing in P1, P2, race after race, and when got promoted to the pros, almost won it outright. And I think that's the one that Mark won. Yes, for the blue flag rule, is the slower car should lift on a straight to let the faster cars by if they're within a reasonable time. So within half a second you'd lift. If they're more than a second out, you're not going to lift you're not going to lift to let them by. But once they get close enough to you, more difficult in the corners, just being predictable in the corners, but we do have a blue flag rule. Mainly, one of the reasons was from one of our races here at VIR. And famously, it was because, and let's just get over to it, it's up here. You can see how tight it gets. And right here, at this section, what is that, 14. There was a blue flagged car that prevented P1 and 2 from passing that blue flag car before the turn-in, and both pro drivers crashed out of that interaction. And because of that, that was one of the I would say 3 pillars, one of the dominoes that dropped us back into actually having official blue flag rules. Not even the worst thing that's happened at VIR, mind you. And look at the AM class. They are just stacking it up. P11, P15, 16, and 17. That's it's 2, 3, 4 in class that are just sitting in the top 20. And then you look at your pro-ams of Connor Burns leading them off in 7th, Elliot A. Burton in 12th, Isaac Gardner in 14th. Really kind of how you see it. The other part, and the other part of this, why we have the rankings the way they are, is your overall, why you're seeing it the way you're seeing it, where everyone's classed up to, specifically, you'll see drivers fighting for, like, when this race starts. Nick Mazza, who's sitting 13th, doesn't care that Elliot is not in his same class. He's still going to want to pass him because the overall points matter more than your class position points. So you're first in class for Connor Burns, but if he could, make up 3 spots and pop up into the top 5, he's going to want to do it because he gets more points that way. That's Isaac Gardner calling it quits with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left to go. And yeah, I didn't mention the safety car part, but we do have a in-house programmed by some really great software engineers that created this safety car generator. It is in effect, and when it detects X amount of cars off the track or stopped, it will throw the safety car, and the safety car will come out, and everyone will stack up. Yes, people can pit when the safety car window allows for people to enter the pits again. That has ruffled some scenarios. As you can imagine, P1 going in on the safety car, not allowed to go into the pits, but halfway through, the pits open up, everyone files in, but there's a couple drivers that are just sitting behind the safety car, unable to go into the pits because it was closed for them. Where do we bet on who's going to say some no-no words tonight? I wish I could let you know we could bet on that. The reason why you will not hear the driver radios is because of VIR. God, it was so long ago, season 6 or 7 or 8, but I don't even. It had to be one of the first seasons. I think I was streaming for the GT3 Sprint Championship because, yeah, this guy said some no-no words at Oak Tree, turn 11, 12, and yeah, that was technically against terms of service for Twitch. So I was like, wow, get TOS'd on this right away. You can see the lap times there for some of these drivers. That is an improvement on their laps. Red means it's not an improvement. That's a pretty simple one there for you if you haven't noticed. That some people aren't improving on their last set of laps as we have 25 seconds left to go. And some people will go towards the bitter end here. Whoa. That's going to be it for Braden Daniels there. The safety car is a wonderful feature, though. If there is a massive pileup that occurs at some point on lap 1 after around 30 seconds, I think it's 30 seconds, it might be 45 seconds. After 30 seconds, it will start to look for any issues. So if there's a bunch of drivers that go off, and there usually are, yeah, safety car will come out. The S's, this is a great way, or the, not the uphill S's, but they call it the snake, but you know what I mean. Well, hey, just goes to show you, qualifying has certainly ended for a lot of these drivers, but the 143s at best, there's only 2 drivers in the 143s. It went to the 144s. From P3 all the way down to P22. Braden Daniels is last in the 144s. 145s of Dylan M. Thomas. He's the first of those drivers in P23. And it goes 145s all the way down to P37. Then it goes to 146s of Varun X. Nampier in P38. And the 136s stay till about P43. And that's pretty much it. Repping the light blues up there at the top. Oh, we got some light blues. The quality gauge draft train is 1, 2, 4, and 5. Look at that. Valhalla is right up there. And that is everybody. Qualifying has ended. P1 through P15. As it goes, Jacob Simmons, P1, Jeff Kofeld, 2nd. Christopher Chidling, 3rd, Gage Hines, 4th, Mark Foley, 5th, Peter Flanders, 6th, Connor Burns, 7th, Aiden Gertz, 8th, Nick Mazza, 9th, Angel Manel Soto, 1st in class for the AM class, Connor Burns as well for the Pro-Amps in 7th, Angel Manel Soto, 10th, 1st in class, Colin Pepper, 11th, John Javecki, 12th, Elliot A. Burton, 13, Forrest Holland, 14, Isaac Gardner, 15, Axel Marquez, 16, Andrew Simmons, 17, Joshua D, 18, Brian McGrath, 19, Matt Hissong, 20, Monster Scary, 21, Braden Daniels, 22, Dylan M. Thomas, 23, Eric Kuzman, 24, Tyler Kern, 25, Stephen Smalley, 26, Craig Reese, 27, Brandon Langlands, 28, Angel Soto, 29, Brandon G. Burns, 30, Samuel Sarmiento, 31, Alexander Parmitter in 32, Josh Justice, 33, Reagan Chandler, 34. So close to getting that. Where am I at? Everything just shifted, folks. Get over your chase. Reagan Chandler, 34. Theo Nolasco, 35. Louis M. Santana, 36. Ryan Chandler, 37. Varun X. Nambier, 38. Joe Ferraroni in 39. Craig Carroll, 40. Thomas Smith, 41. Steve McAllister, 42. Andrew Frank, 43. Brendan S. Powell in 44. Andrew Garrison in 45. Brandon Liu in 46. James P. O'Malley in 47. And Jensen Wolf in 48. Welcome to the league for these drivers that have joined us. And you'll notice on some of these drivers they don't have their accents, and that's because they're new. But you'll always see the motion amongst the league sponsor, one of the league sponsors, but our main title one, I would say. And the accents on their car. You see the red for a rookie, hot pink, that's purple. Look at, this is an example. That is pink. That is pink. And that is purple. If I don't get some confirmation that is not, that's pink, and now you're looking at purple, I'm being gaslit here. That's an example we can see. And that's teal. Oh no, that's light blue. Anyway, there you go. It's crazy. It's crazy you can say this is both pink. That is the same pink as that. And that is hot pink, mind you. That's technically hot pink. I'm gonna lose it. And then you got your Valhalla guys who do actually have all their stuff on correctly for this race, so that's a first. Not really. It's been a while, but they got it together. Prepping the light blues. So somebody said the light blues there, and just I got to get this out there. I can't even know who it is real quick because I couldn't find them when the race was starting. Stephen Smalley, P26, first in class, and also in a pink car, mind you, next to a Pro-Am driver in purple accents. And we are gonna go I hope we get a safety car because I already have to go to the bathroom. Pinkle. Yeah, so we can still be friends. Pinkle it is. These camera shots are brought to you by Mark Foley, who's sitting 5th in class, 5th overall, and is a co-commentator for the Thursday stream for the Miata races. We do MX-5s on Thursdays, and that's a lot of fun. Heat races, was 2 rounds a night. And thank you, Heroes, for the follow. His other commentator is Dylan M. Thomas, who's sitting P23 at the moment. And Prosciutto Punch Racing, who is in the chat. Well, I don't know if it's not full time, but it is. It pops up. He has been commentating for the Tuesday BWAC. I said that so weird. Tuesday. I almost said it like somebody from. Anyway, said it like somewhere else. Tuesday, the BWAC. As full-time as we can do, yeah. All you can hope for. With Nick Mazza, who's sitting, another co-commentator there for that. He's sitting 9th in the overall, 8th in class. It would have been way better if I had just gone to the bathroom on this outlap. In a very infamous corner, made famous by 2 drivers that no longer race with us. If they do, I never see it. Yeah, they are pretty loud, but it's only for lap 1, and then I'll put some B-roll up in due time. But we got to see the start of this race, and you know what? Everyone's nice car sounds. Safety car is in, 1 person is in the pits. Not sure who that is. That's Mark Dupuis. And they're off. Jacob Simmons got a good launch off the line. Christopher Chadling trying to defend for P3. And it is too wide for most of these drivers going in turn 1 and 3 wide almost towards the back of the pack. It is definitely 3 wide. And then Christopher Chadling gaining a spot over Jeff Koffold is now into second. And Jeff goes down 1 and some light motion there on the exit. But it looks pretty clean. It's a little dirt, a little wide. But one by one, they're mostly going. And through the snake, really, this is where we'd see some problems. And then up in the uphill S's, but it looks pretty well in hand. Only two drivers have dropped significant amount of spots. Beyond that, it is pretty clean. 2 drivers, which is, whoa, I say that, and we have 2 cars stop on track, and they are tumbling down the order, and they have pulled out of it, I think. There's a crash. But what happened to Gage? Yeah, he's down 12. We'll take a look in a second. As we see, everyone's still holding strong. -2. Let's take a look. No safety car has been deployed on that crash. And good move there for Stephen Smalley's holding spot over Samuel Sarmiento. The P1 and 2 for rookies. Oh no, and there's another crash. Oh, who is that? That's Elliot A. Burton. He was going too wide. Ooh, and that is John Javecki and Elliot A. Burton colliding. Unfortunate. Gage Hines initially off the line, and that's how he lost those spots. And then another Valhalla driver was spun around, and who would that be? 2 Valhallas in one turn. Really gets you there. Oh, that's what it was. Eric Koonsman. So 2 Valhallas. Watch out there for Eric. He gets spun and gets pushed to the side. And then Forrest Holland was the other Valhalla driver who gets a little nudge out of the way. All in lap 1. This is stuff that it's not much you can do here on lap 1. All racing incidents. And then Ryan Chandler. A chopper came of this. Oh. No bueno. And then Dylan M. Thomas. That's Andrew Simmons who lucked out there. There's nothing they could do. Just a quick recap there. Yes, it looks like it. James O'Malley. He pit on lap 1. So he is now in the trouble zone. Alvarez. Nice blend cam here. And yikes. That is not good starting out. He is out there, though, and he's still going. And it is going to be Mark Foley here. He's going side by side with Peter Flanner and gets him before the first corner, making up a spot. Boris Holland's completely out of it. Eric Koonsman is not. The Spider-Man livery is not giving up. He's down 16. He's P40 at the moment. One of his long races. We'll see where he ends up after this race ends. And I'm sure he can make up a bunch of spots here. That's Jensen Wolf on the outside. If Craig Carroll, who's going to the inside, not quite there, follow through. But is he going to try to make a spot? As we see some dust, some smoke from somebody. They're not on the course just yet. Brendan Liu getting passed by Theo Nolasco. And then you have the other half of Caffeine Global Motorsports, Steve McAllister, Ryan Chandler, and Brendan S. Powell all battling out here. And then further up. This is kind of rare to have a blue flag this early on, just in the thick of it. Elliot A. Burton, also down 16, trying to make some spots, gain. He's side by side with Varun X Nambier, and Varun is going to have nowhere to go there as Elliot gets by. Down 16 still. Guess he was already alongside. Was 17, I guess. Good news for Brandon Langlands. He's up 7, but Joshua D on the inside, who's down 2. Joshua D holding out the spot as Brandon G. Burns is trying to make an attack there. In that Texas. What's Bulls? Are the Bulls in Texas? I don't know anything about sports. Tennessee. They're in Tennessee. And if I got that one wrong, my bad. I think it's Tennessee. Probably even a worse thing to not know. I don't know, probably not that one. College football. So we got some nice gaps formed here for some of these drivers. Texas Longhorns. No, it's Vols Halla. It's Vols. It's like it's Vols something. It's some college football team. Something. Vols, blah blah blah. Or just maybe the Vols or Vols. Their team name is Vols Halla, but it's a play on the Valhalla thing, I think, as well. Of the Volunteers. I don't know what that's about. Tennessee Volunteers? Is that a thing? Good news for Dylan M. Thomas. While he is down only 8 spots, he's got Varun X Nambier just ahead of him, Andrew Simmons behind him. Both drivers are looking to cut through the pack again and get back to where they started this race, at least qualifying. And who's it going to be first, Andrew Simmons or Dylan M. Thomas, trying to make up a spot here on Varun X Nambier? For Dylan, this is an in-class position as well, going into 10th for the Pro-Ams. We'll go over to Hayden Gertz. Got Nick Mazza just ahead of him. This is a long race, folks. 75 minutes. 44 laps. We're on lap 6 of 44. And a lot of these drivers are just going to hold court. Just stay in the draft. Stay in this pack. You start to lose out a little bit there. and you can see that there's Angel Vanilla Soto is outside that draft by 1.8 seconds, and then Isaac Gardner would like to follow suit, but is just behind 0.7. I was in the braking zone. Was more like almost 9/10 to a second. Not a lot of ability to follow suit there. There you go. The Vols. Yeah, that's Tennessee team. College Tennessee, yeah. I didn't know that. I mean, like, I thought I did. There's Dylan M. Thomas making a spot on Brunex Nambier. Ooh, has he still got it? He's got it. Andrew Simmons also wants to get through, but can't. What a move. Let's take a quick look around and how he was able to do that. On the chopper, can we go? And he's got... Oh, there's a little mistake there for him. Gives the space to Dylan M. Thomas, but he's got the inside technically, but already had the power down on the outside and was able to slip through. And boom, he's through. But Andrew Simmons gets by, so now we got to take a look at what happens here. Oh, Dylan went wide on the exit of the penultimate corner, and Andrew Simmons gets by. He slots back in behind him, and now both up back on the live camera on this, and Andrew Simmons making 2 spots gain on a couple of quarters there. Gage Hines. We're already looking at a champion. This driver was able to secure his first championship as he goes side by side with Isaac Gardner and gets through on Isaac Gardner. Has been dominating this season round after round, but also, I mean, on the points right now, he's already a good swing. Peter Flanner, who's sitting in 5th, would be a great haul of points for him, but because this is a longer race, we could see Gage actually really get back in the top, not only the top 10, but possibly the top 6, maybe even battle Peter Flanner for a spot. He won last season and is now a pro winner. Having one championship under his belt, this would be a back-to-back championship, season 18 and 19 for him, if he can pull it off. He's got a good haul of points ahead right now when we go into round 11. And he's still only P11, which isn't bad, all things considered. But he's finishing the top 5, I think, in almost every race. Mark Foley is getting ever so close to Jeff Koffel here. Jeff is sitting 3rd in the championship. Mark, he joined halfway through this one, but putting some respect on the name Mark Foley, he himself has won season 17 for a championship. And his battle was pretty close. I think it came down to the last round. On board with Aiden Gertz, who's got another Valhalla driver just ahead of him, Colin Pepper. And if you're wondering why are there so many Valhalla drivers, they like to recruit, and they're all quick, which is also, you know, why you see them all the way up there at the top. You got Jeff, Connor Burns, Colin Pepper, Gage Hines in 11th. Matt's somewhere around here, isn't he? Matt P17, another Valhalla driver. And then one of the drivers that left already is Forrest Holland. He's out of this race entirely. John Javecki just clawing back spots. And whoa, Samuel Sarmiento elbows out and was able to defend that spot over John Javecki here. Let's take a look. What would have happened to John Javecki? He did have that little moment with Elliott. But after that, oh, this is what happens. Here we go. Lap 4. Conchevecchi is trying to get by lap traffic. Oh! Okay. Axel Marquez, that's his second bump and run. Don't forget that livery there. Let's take a look again. Hey, that's two on the board. Oh, in the trees in the way. And this is when blue flags create chaos for the rest of the field. Yeah. And then Jensen Wolf into the barrier there, and that clips. Oof. Oh gosh. Theo Nolasco, James O'Malley, who's one of the blue flag guys. Let's take a. How? What the? All right. Who is this? This is Jensen Wolf, but that's Brendan S. Powell. Let's take a look here. They're battling it out here on lap 9 of 10 still. And they are going too wide through the snake, which is ill-advisable, but that's how we got that. Then pull back that curtain a bit. Now they're reacting to this. That's a blue flag of James O'Malley. Now he's just sent across. Theo Nolasco just nowhere to go with that one as well. And that's 3 drivers down in one small section. Then Isaac Gardner. Whoa! Another boot scooting boogie from Axel Marquez there. He is a highlight. Granted, Isaac was, I think, was going too slow. I think was losing it slightly, still in the brakes, and then boom, there's a little bump and run. I mean, yeah, once it's 3, two's okay, but 3 is a murder. That's a serial killer. And wow, that is VIR never does not disappoint. We will have to look throughout this race at Axel Marquez's. He's here. He's got another victim of Colin Pepper just ahead of him. 1.8 seconds. Or sorry, 2.5 seconds. And yeah, I think he's safe right now. But this driver doesn't want to get those rear headlights too close to him, that's for sure. This is the Enduro round. Candidate for the Killdozer? I don't know. I think the Killdozer has to do a lot more. 75-minute race. We're on lap 11 of 44. A lot of ways to go, but we've already had our fair share of VIR magic, if you want to call it that. Eric Koonsman is down 13 spots from where he fell back, and he has flashed Andrew Garrison just ahead of him, letting him know, hey man, I might be a little quicker than you. I mean, on the last lap, he did a 145.9, and there he gets him on through Oak Tree, and that is done. And now Eric Koonsman is down only 12 spots where he started this race. Jensen Wolf had a big moment a couple seconds ago. Alright, we'll take a look. As Andrew Frank gets on by Joe Ferraroni before we even get to the roller coaster. Jensen Wolf, after already repairing the car and just blocked out there. Let's take a look at. Oh, big moment, big shunt. That's unfortunate. RIP to one of the new rookies joining us here. And then Brandon S. Powell, another driver who was involved in that earlier incident, off to the side there. Not really significant, though. He was far off. Getting back on the oak tree is not that bad. Ooh. And then Colin Pepper. Wait wide. Drift King. Let's Gage Hines by. And now Gage, who I said was going to be in the top 10, granted, now he's P9, 1.7 seconds to Aiden Gertz, and technically 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds off of Peter Flanner. Isn't a whole lot of time. That's a pit stop, and they're required to do 2 of these this race. So not only going to get the over and undercut scenarios for a lot of these drivers thinking about it all, as Gage Hines has just set the fastest lap of the 144.345. Those 5 spots he lost by sheer virtue of his own error, I would say. I don't know if anyone else was too close to him on that, but he did spin on cold tires into exiting turn 1. Sorry, Gage. I'm not trying to throw shade on you. It's just, it happens, you know. Just bad start. But, yeah. We'll see what happens with him. Elliot A. Burton has gone up a couple. He's now up into P25 with only 12 spots lost. He's regaining them. But he's been battling Brandon G. Burns. An in-class battle for P6 and 7 at the moment. Don't do those things. But P24 and 25 overall. A lot of groups are still with each other. Look at that. P16 through 19 is 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the Pro-Ams. Joshua D. would love to get by these drivers. But not only they battle for in-class, but the overall still matters more. And this group is just hanging on. Tyler Kern leads this little train called the Draft Train, and he's sitting in that BMW. Has to make a move here on Craig Reese, and it's not going to happen. It's kind of a weird angle for that, to be honest. And see how some of these drivers are really trying to hug that curb and others are slightly avoiding it. And look at Brandon G. Burns having to defend a bit on Elliot Burton, who wants that spot. Now this is sometimes just how it happens. Some of these drivers spend a lot of time preparing for these races. Angel Bonello Soto isn't slow by any means. He's holding court. He's doing 145.1s. The drivers around him doing similar times. 145.5, 144.7, 145.5, 145.3s. It's all just changing. Marshall Scari had a little bit of a blunder there on Oak Tree. Let's take a look. Oh, lost the rear. It's not that bad against the barriers there. But he dropped some spots. He's still up 4. Count your blessings. Gage Hines, now side by side with Aiden Gertz, and goes ahead of Aiden Gertz. He's now P8. He's regained now up 4 spots. Axel Marquez here. We already have a couple drivers going into the pits on lap 15. That is interesting to see. We'll see how that plays out. Lap 12. It's Steve McAllister here. Lost it in the barrier. Just kind of a low speed crash there. Brandon S. Powell. Oh, we saw that one already. But he's back out there. Let's take a look at our leader. Jacob Simmons. One of the only, I should say only. Andrew Garrison is also in the Lamborghini. Beyond that is just the two of them. And he is leading the pack 3.7 seconds on Christopher Chitterling. Couple of, I would say like a Renegades. A Lambo and an Acura, P1 and 2. And then you got your Metacars all behind. Your Ferraris, your Mustangs, your Corvettes, your McLarens. I mean, you see a lot of BMWs out there, but Brian McGrath is in one in P12. But yeah, Matt Hissong is going to gain a spot here as Braden Daniels goes in the pit. So a lot of a shakeup and breaking up of natural patterns, groups that were formed by similar pace. So we'll see a little bit of a die-off on the groupings. What will work? First, Axel Marquez, sitting P39 at the moment, has gone through the pits. And now we will see how this plays out. Let's do a chopper cam. He's already gone through. And he's regained a gaggle of spots as Braden Daniels is exiting the pits. And he is now up to P32. And it is just going to be shaping up in the pits here, as you have Samuel Sarmiento and Brandon Langland. Or sorry, not Brandon. And that's Brandon S. Powell battling it out there. And they both are on an outlap. Both similar pace. And Samuel Sarmiento was P2 in the rookies standings so far, and he's held on to that. Now it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. We have a group. Jacob Simmons leads it, and they're all going into the pits. The leader plus other drivers in the top 10 now entering the pits. Mark Foley stayed out, and so did Nick Mazza. They must have fuel saved a little bit more, but we're going to see what happens. Gage Hines is now technically ahead of Peter Flanner, but who's going to pop out first? Peter Flanner is sitting second in the championship right now, and Gage Hines has recoiled almost everything he's lost from that opening spin. He pops out. Peter Flanner is now ahead. Gage Hines is exiting. Gage is now level with Connor Burns, and is actually ahead of Connor Burns. Overtaking one driver in the pit lane, and now Gage Hines finds himself right next to Peter Flanner. That championship looks like Gage really wants it. Hit a double championship back-to-back. And he gains a lot by doing it this way. Let's see how Jeff, Mark, and Nick Mazza unfold here. The gap to Jacob Simmons is 34.4. It takes 43.1 seconds is what Jacob Simmons did on his pit stop. Took Christopher Chitterling 43.2. Peter Flanner did a 42.6, and Gage Hines did a 42.6. Connor Burns lost a spot because he did a 43.3. And that's how he was overtaken. These drivers are now in the pit lane, and they're still reaching their pit boxes. And Nick has stopped, Mark has stopped, and Jeff has stopped. Where is Jacob Simmons? He is down into hog pen and into the start straight finish. And Nick Mazza hasn't started rolling again. And Chopper, they're popping out. He already had a 3-second lead, but that is pretty nice to see, as Christopher Chilling was going to get ahead of these drivers anyway. He was second. Jeff Koppel is in third. Mark Foley fourth. Peter Flander fifth. Nick Mazza sixth. Splitting Gage Hines there, though. How close was that for these drivers? He's out. And there's Peter. And he's back on the racing line. And just has enough to be ahead of Gage here. And so that puts him 1.7 seconds back on Peter Flanner, and further pushing back Gage Hines, who's now going to have to overtake Nick Mazza, also a champion here at Broken Wing Racing League, for the GT3 Sprint Championship. In fact, Nick won the Season 14 overall championship while pro. I should just preface that every overall championship is a pro champion, with the one exception of a rookie that almost made a rookie overall champion. And Gage going for the move down the back stretch, and already has it done before they even get the roller coaster. Let's take a look here. Tyler Kern, sitting P19, has been slowly chipped away here. It's John Javecki's just behind in P20. But Tyler Kern was leading a little train here, but has been passed by Joshua D at some point. And that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 has changed. And there's John Javecki going for the move on Tyler Kern into turn 1. And gets it done. And now is pushing ahead with Joshua D. Expect nothing less from the pro drivers here, as they are chipping away through the pro-ams little by little, but there's a big group of them, and so now they have to find their way through. Isaac Gardner is now their next target. Joshua D leading that group, that little group. He's still a second off of Isaac Gardner. We've got a blinker. Matt Hissong. Braden Daniels just ahead of him. And quietly, while I haven't been paying attention, Angel Bonello Soto, Axel Marquez, and Brian McGrath, 1, 2, and 3 for the AM class. Nested between 9th and 10th. A pro sandwich there. 10th in the overall and 14th in the overall. Even fits 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, and 3. Dylan M. Thomas now down only 5 spots when he started this race. Qualified at. That's what you like to see. It's a long race. Still a lot left to go. We're not even at the halfway point. We got 4 laps to get to the halfway point. Sorry, 2 laps to go. 2 laps to get to the halfway point. What am I saying? None of these cars are going to make it easy for Dylan M. Thomas here. He's got Joshua Justice and Reagan Chandler. Pro-Am's just ahead of him. It will Where can he make a spot if given mistakes? And that was a mistake there from Joshua Justice, but nothing you can do to capitalize through that little cornering section anyway. Samuel Sarmiento, who's sitting first in class and just gone off track a little bit. 23rd overall, and is in a little group. Elliot A. Burton leads this pack. That Draft Punk Gold car. Oh. Pull that back slightly as John Javecki has made a spot on Joshua Dean. Now down only 6 spots. And while we're at it, let's highlight John Javecki of Javecki Insurance. One of the sponsors here for Brooklyn Racing League. I think it says it on the side, but it's small fine print. Matt Hissong has still been close to a Braden Daniels, but no change in the order for these drivers. Oh! Take a look here. Samuel Sarmiento, who is leading the rookies, maybe he still is, I don't know, but gets just lost it there and go to the overall. He's still first in class even after that spin. P26. He's got Joshua Justice on the trail. Well, I fear we're not going to have a safety car. And after so many laps, the safety car will be just disabled because we're not going to toss out a safety car on like lap 38 or whatever. I forget if it's halfway point. I think it's halfway point in the race. A little before. We did have a safety car. I think it was BWAC. Season 1 or 2 where it came out so late in the race. And it just... It was a kerfluffle. Because that's how these things are. Samuel Sarmiento losing his spot there to Joshua Justice. And Dylan M. Thomas also trying to make a move there. Thunder Thighs Racing. Oh, and he's a little squirrely. And you can see it. Samuel Sarmiento is losing a little bit of confidence there through that section as he's taken it badly once before. And can't wait, so I will be right back, folks. I just have to go. Alright, I'm back. What'd I miss? Did anything happen? I don't think so, right? It didn't change, is what I will say. Because one of the things you can do, looks like Theo Nolasco's black flagged. It's unfortunate for him. Peter Flanner is still holding court in 4th. He's up 2 from where he started this race, but he's got Gage Heinz now within 0.2 of a second. If you're wondering why this is exciting, not only is it a battle in the top 10 or top 5, these two drivers are competing for the championship. This is round 10, so we have 2 more rounds to go after this race. 3 total rounds. 1 still in the mix, as we're halfway through it, before we crown the next overall champion. And it is between not only these two, but Jeff Koffold, who's just ahead. He's sitting 3rd in the championship. So this is an inverse of the top 3 in the standings. Gage Heinz is 1st, Peter Flanner is 2nd, and Jeff is in 3rd. Right now, Jeff leads from 3rd to ahead, you know. This is great. This is what you want to see. Peter Flanner is also another driver who has got some championships under his belt. He actually has 2 championships under his belt. The Season 11 and Season 15 championships. So he's a 2-time champ. Going up against a 1-time champ who's trying to become a 2-time champ. Can Peter pull off 3? Is this his season? He's holding back the last season's champion right now. I'd say with a bit more luck, Draft Punk Gold would have some more outstanding results, because things outside their control have really dampened their point hauls for sure. Elliott Burton. Let's take a look here. Just a little bit of driver error, I think. Oh, snap. He's back out there. Having to call back some spots. He was doing fairly well. Every time I look at Matt Hissong, I think he might have something going down here. Braden Daniels is really strong in defense, and he's holding his own. There's been a lot of pressure. Yeah. But no exchange yet from these drivers, and that is also Marshall Scari behind, joining them in that Mustang. But these 3, no change in the order just yet. And Gage Heinz lost a spot here. Take a look at what happened there. Oh! How'd I miss that? Whoa. Was there something else that... Okay. Jeff Koffold was losing it, so he slowed down. He lost speed. He goes side by side and then gets spun by Peter, but they were already side by side. So let's take a look again at what precipitated this. He's going up the hill, and he's carrying too much speed through South Bend. That left-hander. It's up the S's. Brakes. It's on the grass slightly. He was on the grass. Pulls it. He's slow, but he's got it. And then he's going to start turning in, but Peter's like, I'm right next to you. Whips him around. That's, I mean, racing against it for sure. But then Gage also is caught up in the collected in that a little bit. And then there you have it, folks. A change in the order. As now Peter Flanner goes to P3 with Nick Mazza battling out there. That is Steve McAllister giving way to these drivers. And that is the blue flags that you want to see on the straight and out of the way. And it is now just tense as Gage Hines is putting the pressure on Nick Mazza, a driver he's already had to pass once. Now he has to pass him again. And Nick Mazza says, no, try again. And through goes these two. Honestly, I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks about that Jeff Koffel with Peter Flanner incident, because honestly, you see him in the mirror. You must see him in the mirror. Already compromised his line through because of South Bend, so he was already going slow into Oak Tree. There was speed and momentum from Peter Flanner and Gage, and they made the move, and it didn't quite stick. That's what spun Jeff around, but he's still P6. And now this is kind of where Gage got Nick Mazza. Is he going to get him again right here on the straight? I think he's got the speed to do it. Might side draft him a little bit. And is it enough? I think it is. It's this textbook down into this corner. The roller coaster. And Gage Hines has now put himself back into P4 where he qualified in this race. That's what you might expect from a possible two-time champ, a back-to-back champ, as he holds the most points right now in the standings. And with a good haul of points finishing P4, Peter Flanner will lower the gap between himself and Gage, but he's still next to you in the standings. Points finishes from P3 to 4 isn't that much of a difference, so it's going to be still an uphill battle for 2 more rounds. That is fantastic. Back to Elliott Burton, who's gained a couple spots from where he was at a mishap on the exit of the penultimate corner into the start straight finish, and he's now only down 11 spots where he started. He's got Reagan Chandler just ahead of him. He's passed Joshua D at some point. But we still have a lot of good pack racing. Brandon Langlands in the KFC livery, trying to put some pressure on Tyler Kern. Say, is an AM class driver putting pressure on a Pro-Am driver? Yes, he is. The times on the last lap, Brandon Langlands was slightly faster than Tyler Kern. Granted, he was in the slipstream. And we'll go on board here with Elliott A. Burton and see if he can't make up a spot here on this backstretch here. We've only been seeing the Ferrari have that upward momentum on this backstretch for the most part. He's not going to dive to the inside. But through the penultimate corner they go. This is where most of the forward momentum, a lot of these drivers have found the pace to go outside, inside. I'm going to make a pass. He's defending much as he can, but on the outside has the corner going into turn 1, and Elliott Bird has gained a spot back. Reagan Chandler. Take another look at these three. They have kept this pace for some time. All similar. 145.5, 145.7, 145.8. And what's that ahead? Brandon S. Powell letting Axel Marquez by. There's a good enough gap here for Brian McGrath, who's sitting third. Axel Marquez sitting second. Angel Bueno Soto in first. For these three battling in the 1, 2, 3 for the AM class win. 11, 12, and 13 in the standings. Go over to the pros. It's very simple to nail this one down. A driver's livery, you have barely seen this race, but you've seen his teammates' livery. Jacob Simmons of Thunder Thighs Racing is comfortably leading by 6.6 seconds. And really we'll go on board with him, and what do we see? To him, he may not fully be able to articulate it. He's probably got some overlays that show him, but everybody ahead of him is blue flagged. He's already chipped away to P38, now 37 if Craig Carroll is just ahead of him by 3 seconds. Not a whole lot. He's not going to see that too quickly. But there you have it. Christopher Chitterling is sitting second of Little Luck Nuts Racing. I don't even know if they entered in as Little Lug Nuts this season, but he's always, that's his team, man. Christopher Chitterling is second, and Peter Planner is in third. And we'll go over to Connor Burns, who leads the Pro-Ams. He's sitting 7th overall, first in class, and right now he's still within a train of drivers. He's got Nick Mazza leading that train, Jeff Koppel just behind him, and Aiden Gertz behind Connor Burns. He's 4 all together. And then we go over to his rivals. We got 2 of the Pro AM class drivers going in, P2 and 3, at the same time. Matt Hissong is second in the Pro-Am overall right now. Sorry, in the Pro-Ams, not in the overall, but the Pro-Am class. Now I just need to find where the third person is. I think it's Isaac Gardner. It is. Isaac Gardner. 15th overall, 3rd in class. For the rookies, there's a lot of rookies here. Let's take a look. I mean, there's 8. There's more than 8. Yeah, there's just 8. 12 AM class, 13 Pro-Ams. Got to be more than 11 pros, but I can't tell you. Samuel Sarmiento was leading the rookies. He's P39 at the moment, so now I have to go to Stephen Smalley. It's Luis M. Santana is in P26, and Stephen Smalley in P27. These are the 1 and 2 in class for the rookies. And Samuel Sarmiento, well, I'm only going to guess, went into the pits again? Yes, he did. He went into the pits last lap, and this is his out lap. He did a 1 minute and 2 second lap, so he must have taken tires. And you know what? We'll take a look and see if anyone else did that. Axel Marquez did a 51.1 on his time. And the long-awaited wait of Matt Hissong and Braden Daniels has finally left us as Braden went into the pits. take a look at another driver of Brian McGrath, who exited the pits with a 58.1. So now this is a long-haul fuel stint. And for some drivers, Joshua D is just fueled for a 38.6. Braden is exiting the pits, and no one really else is gonna help out this scenario for him. If you're looking at what happened with the lighting and everything, look no further than your resident broadcaster slash commentator, who will give you the weather here. It was 28 degrees at Virginia International Raceway, but now the partly cloudy has shifted 2 degrees Celsius, so it's 26 degrees Celsius out there. The track temp went down to 29 degrees from 32. The winds picked up to 10 kph southeast instead of southwest. The humidity went from 50% to 65%. No precipitation on the board, but it is 7:47:58 p.m. on a Sunday, and it is gonna get a little darker out there. Approaching the that evening state, we'll see what happens as Peter Flanner and Christopher Chitterling are inside of each other. This is what you like to see. Or, I mean, wait, racing. John Javecki has joined them. Javecki has not pit just yet, so this isn't really a battle that they need to think about too much, but there goes Christopher Chitterling trying to make this too wide, and whoa! There goes Christopher Chitterling, didn't make it too wide, and is rejoining, and didn't lose much there. I mean, he lost to John Javecki, and technically what he lost more than that is the drivers that have not pit and are going to pit. Yeah, that's going to be a difference. He's going to be battling out some drivers there, and let's take a look and see how that all unfolded. He tried to get the overlap done. He does. He breaks, and they're too wide. And then that same camera, gonna fire that guy. Nope, we're not gonna get it there. Yeah, I don't know if it was the move was ever there. Or was it there? I think there's just not enough space for two. I guess we'll see what Chris has to say about that after that one. There you go. Nick Mazza is out there. He hasn't pit just yet. Jacob Simmons is going in the pits right now. Go with pit lane monitor here as people are pulling on by. Nick Mazza is still out there. Jacob Simmons, who's pitting from fourth, is see what he does for a pit stop, because we got some drivers that did minute-long pit stops. What is this going to be? It was a 35.8 for Jacob Simmons. Mark Foley, Jeff Koffold, and Nick Mazza have yet to pit. Gage Hines is behind Jacob Simmons, but that is an 8.1 second gap. Peter Flanner is ahead, is behind Gage now. Now, how did that happen? I struggle to find anything about Peter Flanner here, but is it around here? Yeah, that's it. He just gets him in the pit cycle. That is Gage. And yeah, he just got. Jeff Koffold is in, Nick Mazza is in, Mark Foley is in, Jacob Simmons is well down the start straight finish. He had a 6.6 second gap to P2, mind you, and he pops back up there. Gage is now going to be battling out Jeff, who's exiting, Nick Mazza is exiting, Mark Foley is still in, and Gage is down the exit point there, but he's well into speed over Nick Mazza and Jeff Koffold. Peter Flanner ahead as well. So the change in the guard there, Christopher Chitterling is one of those, you know, he was going to go down a bunch because of that incident with him and Peter Flanner. But now we get to see how that really is affected. Brutally affected, I would say. Connor Bird's holding court. He's qualified P7 and has a good buffer to the drivers around him to hold this out for 43 laps total. We're on lap 35. Peter Flanner. Whoa, that is a Wild Air Koonsman who's well off. He now has Gage Hines ahead of him. An unfortunate scenario though, because you want to finish ahead of the lead guy, and that is Gage Hines, who is now ahead of him. Jeff, who was actually ahead of both of them, now behind both of them. Now this is looking like the standings that we see for the season standings. Gage in first, Peter in second, and Jeff Koffold in third. And I know no one's asking the question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. You're wondering, how good is Jacob Simmons if there's a mono champ, duo champ, you know, the two-time champ, and another mono champ of Nick Mazza behind him? Jacob Simmons is a two-time champ himself, seasons 10 and 13. So, there you go. Mark Foley's also a champion. He's in P9 at the moment, but, you know, it's not going his way. Brian McGrath. After the pit cycle, he's got Marshall Scari. He's going to try to take him on the inside here into turn one. Marshall Scari through the outside. Gets passed by Brian McGrath. I think one of the only BMWs out there. Oh, yeah, well, Fiona Oscar's another BMW out there. Out of 47 drivers, we have 41 that are still in this race. That's actually pretty good, all things considered. And then another thing, something I've tracked down. Oh, Brandon S. Powell, little spin here on lap 34. Lost it a little bit, but hey, able to save it. That's how you do. Brendan Liu. Oof. Little oopsie daisy there. Alright, it's the only incidents that have really occurred in a while. Go back over to Colin Pepper here. He's got Braden Daniels ahead of him. And if you're wondering, who are all these champions and the overall, the pro drivers? Well, Trey Mistak, he holds the large sum of the championships. What do you call that? Penta champ? He won season 1, 5, 7, 8, and 9. So he's done back-to-back triple, I guess, back. When he wasn't winning, it was Matt Shack, infamous driver here, who won season 2, 3, and 4, back-to-back. Tyler Anderson won season 6, Jacob Simmons won season 10 and 13. Peter Flanner 11 and 15. J.D. Daniel, the Pax Oceania drivers, won season 12. Nick Mazza 14. Austin McGill 16. Mark Foley 17. And Gage Hines 18. So we could see a back-to-back for Gage Hines. Austin J. McGill, who has won a Pro Championship. He's also won the first Pro-Am Championship. Season 12. Elliot A. Burton 13. Rodrigo Theory 14. Marshall Scari 15. Jeff Coppold 16. Braden Daniel 17. And Alex Zier 18. There's also another good thing to note when you're saying, wow, I'm 3 seconds off these drivers. Jeff Coppold is P5 right now in the overall. P5 in class as well. He started as an AM class driver. He's won the AM class and Pro-Am class championships. He only needs one more to go. And he's been close for a couple seasons in a row. But Jeff won the season 8 AM class. Andrew Korostecki, one of the commentators for the BWRL series, also would have been here tonight, giving us a show of his own driving. Would have been fun to see. Andrew Korostecki has won seasons 2, 4, 5, and 18 of the AM class championship. Dominated on the season 18, by the way. Just really made those AM class drivers not like that he was sitting in the top 10 while they were sitting in the top, 30. We go back over to Peter Flanner here. He's trying to make a move here on Gage Hines. And I think he's able to get it done. And yes, it's close. And they give each other almost no quarter there, but it goes to Peter Flanner. He's now sitting in second overall. Second in class as well. It's a battle of all the pros in the top 5. They're all pros at the moment. Connor Burns and Angel Manolo Soto, first in class for both the Pro-Ams and the AMs. We have 1, 2, 3 in terms of first in class in the top 10, and then the rookie. Well, we just don't. We've already settled on our rookies that have been promoted a bit. Beat us, missed this week. Wish I was out there. Looked like it was a fun race. It's a pretty good race. I'll have to be back next season. Next season, we still got 2 more rounds. 2 more rounds. 2 more fun rounds. And it's not over until it's over. We got Road Atlanta for round 11, and then the legendary extended qualifying. It's basically, I don't know if it's the full, instead of practice, it's just qualifying. I forget exactly how we do that, but I think instead of having practice at all, it's just straight up qualifying for Le Mans. Le Mans is going to round us out on for the round 12, the final round. Ryan Chandler is towing from P38, so that's not good. Matt Hissong is doing fairly well. He's up 9 spots. He's in P11. He's second in class, and he's 6.6 seconds back on Angel Minnesota, who's first in class for the AM class. But we got some close driving here from some of these drivers still in the mix after 39 laps of 43. Ryan Chandler. Okay, so Andrew Garrison bins it. Not really bins it. I shouldn't say that. Oh no. Ryan Chandler was just following his sibling, Reagan Chandler, P35, 25, and 38, and just loses it. And then decides to tow to the pits. That's unfortunate. Alright, we're going back to this battle here. On board with Nick Mazza, who's got the best view of what he's seeing ahead of him. That is P2 and 3 battling with P4 on board. And these drivers are going to give us a show to the end of this race. The pressure is really on, although I think there's a slight gap that formed slightly with Gage Hines to Peter Flanner. We made an overtake on him through the backstretch here before roller coaster, which is in a couple corners here. This is Oak Tree, then the backstretch, and then roller coaster. Oh, he was so close. He had to back off so much. That drops back Nick Mazza a good amount. Poor exit because of the overcorrection not to tap Gage Heinz there. That is just solid thinking there to not hit the driver ahead of you there. And, you know, it's very close. But you can see on board he did make the attempt to lift and not smack Gage. Speaking of smackings, Axel Marquez. He is in P15, and I would love to see how the community judges a lot of these things that happen here. As Brandon S. Powell, that's going to be lifting to let Axel Marquez by, as blue flags do need to lift and get slightly out of the way for the drivers that are still on the lead lap. Wellfully done there. Take a look here at Jacob Simmons, who's got a 9.3 second gap to Peter Flannery. That is a lap traffic driver. The next driver you're seeing is also lap. That's Lewis M. Santana. So 2 laps. And then we're trying to see, where's Peter Flanner at? He is still, there he is. He's popping out of Oak Tree, on the exit of Oak Tree. And that is him, P3 and P4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Christopher Chittering rounding him out there. And just kind of the sheer difference in gap for these drivers right now. It's 2 lap cars that are in the middle of Peter Flanner there. Oh, it's actually Lewis M. Santana and Joe Ferraroni. They're in 31 and 32. Drivers that are popping out right there. You can see them. We're supposed to have 44 laps, but it's going to go down to 1 more lap and not go over the extended time. We'll get 1 lap of racing. See, technically, no, we'll get another lap. I think. Did they white flag this thing? Is someone down this? Okay. I don't see a white flag. I think it's gonna go white flag next go around. I guess we'll see. Gage is putting the pressure on Peter Flanner here. Yeah, they're gonna have to do 1 more lap. Christopher Chittering is also getting a little pressure on Aiden Gertz here as well. Let's see what happens. No move for Chris there. And he's gonna have to run 1 more lap. But you don't see a flag guy. VIR is weird. Race is basically ending. We got 1 lap of racing left. And you think it wouldn't have some drama at the end, considering everything that's happening here. Mark Foley had to enter the pits. So he's going to drop down the order. Matt Hissong is now in the top 10. And Gage Hines still setting the pressure, as well as Christopher Chitterling, as well as Axel Marquez, who's got John Javecki. And got ahead of John Javecki, and then Andrew Garrison also got ahead as well, but this lap traffic, I'm not sure what happened there, but anyway, we'll see how this unfolds. These drivers, they're flashing them and trying to get them out of the way there. Joe Ferraroni is P32, and he's definitely trying to let them by. He's letting one of them by, he's letting both of them by, he's let them both by. Luis M. Santana is a newer rookie. I don't know if he's fully aware, but I don't think he was close enough to let them by anyway. It was more just Joe Ferraroni to let him by. So, across the line we'll go. And Jacob Simmons wins round 10 here at VIR. Peter Flanner into second. It looks like it's going down the wire, and he gets it done over Jay Tynes in second, third, Nick Mazza fourth, Jeff Koppel fifth, Connor Burns sixth, first in class for Connor Burns, Aiden Gertz 7. Christopher Chitterling has a black flag. He's P8, but he's going to get kicked down the line. He's not going to even finish in the top 10 anymore. He's got to serve a black flag, and that's going to be a rough one. Joe Bueno Soto is going to finish in P8. And that is a change in the order there. Matt Hissong P9 maybe over Christopher Chitterling. And Jacob gets it. Matt Hissong in 9. Braden Daniels in 11 and 10. And no, Braden Daniels 10. Colin Pepper 11. Christopher Chitterling 12. Axel Marquez 13. Isaac Gardner 14. Brian McGrath 15. Mark Foley 16. John Javecki 7. No, shit. No, whoa. Brian McGrath 15, Marshall Scary 16, John Javecki 17, Mark Foley ended finishing 18, Elliot A. Burton in 19, Tyler Kern in 20, Brandon G. Burns in 21, Dylan M. Thomas 22. Look at Dylan is actually up one from where he qualified at the end of this race. Extended races do matter. Keep showing up and putting in the laps, and that's how you improve to 22nd for him. Michael Soto in 23, Joshua Justice 24. Brunex Nambier in 25, Reagan Chandler 26, Stephen Smalley first in class for the rookies. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Angel Vanilla Soto as well. Connor Burns, Jacob Simmons, Andrew Franken 28, Brandon Langlis 29, Andrew Simmons 30, Lewis and Santana 31, Joe Ferraroni 32, Craig Carroll 33, Eric Koonsman 34, Thomas Smith 35, Andrew Garrison 36, Stephen McAllister 37, Brandon S. Powell 38, Theon Oscar 39, Joshua D 40, Ryan Chandler 41, Brendan Liu 42, Samuel Sarmiento 43, Craig Reese 44, Jensen Wolf 45, James O'Malley in 46, Forrest Hall in 47, and Alexander Parameter 48. Thank you guys for joining. And we'll start with Connor Burns here because he's the first in the order here. Connor, great race for yourself. You gained one spot from everything. All in all, I would say you take those, especially with the amount of action surrounding you. You had a bunch of pros all up in the mix. How were you able to hold it together, considering how much pressure was on that start?
Well, I had a lot of pace early on, too. Even on cold tires, I wasn't too scared of really anything. I had my good friend Aiden beside of me, so I wasn't too nervous about just getting dived. So early on, yeah, I was definitely just trying to save the tires a little bit and keep up with Peter Flanner in front of me.
Yeah, Peter was having a good one. You were well within him. How did the pit stops work out for you? Because I know it looked like it didn't seem to matter that much if you were going overcut, undercut, for all things considered.
Yeah, I fuel saved the extra lap the second time. And, it was fine. I don't think it really made a difference, honestly. I would have came out in the same place, and I would have probably ended in the same place. So, yeah, definitely pit stops didn't really affect me at all.
Well, congratulations. I mean, you're well leading the championship at the moment, and that's another little notch under your belt. I know Matt Hissong ended up finishing P9, second in class, and was able to get that one closer towards you. But do you have the confidence going into the next couple rounds to just really nail out that championship? I mean, you're doing well in qualifying. Everything else is in that regard as well. So, yeah, just that's my final question. Is the confidence still there?
Yeah, absolutely. Red Atlanta, I should be pretty good there. Le Mans, I actually despise that track with my entire being. So hopefully, don't have to race that. But we'll see going into it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to. But yeah, I'd say the confidence is there. I'd say I'm ready.
Even if it's your drop weight, go into it just with no expectations beyond that. You're gonna have fun. I would say that would be the best thing about that if you're not good at it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Hey, good job, Jacob. By the way.
Oh dang.
Thanks for joining me, Connor. It was appreciate you popping in.
Yep. See you. Bye. Love you.
All right. Jacob
Stay back,
Simmons. Yeah. Love you too. Winning by 9.4 seconds over your rivals. You had a 3.3 second gap on the first pit stop. Then you had a 6.6 second gap on the second pit stop. I know you're not worried about those pit stops and how you were being overcut by the drivers around you. But ultimately, what was it that you feel separates you from everyone else in the field on how you performed today? Because it was truly just lap after lap, like corner after corner, you just kept doing what needed to be done after the opening getaway.
It helps a lot when the guy behind you gets held up by like 2 seconds on lap 2. So
that happened, yeah.
You got to get in, yeah. Chitterling, was it Chitterling who was behind me?
Yeah. Yeah. Chitterling.
Somebody came out of the pits like on like lap 2 or 3.
Oh yeah. We had that blue flag. Yeah, that blue flag
got right in front of him going into the last second. So
that's last second. That did definitely do a little bit of damage there, but like ultimately, Jeff was battling with Chris, and Chris ended up. He had a black flag at the end. He got spun around when he hadn't even come into contact with Peter. I mean, I guess, you're right. The battles for P2 were really on. Everyone was pressuring whoever's P2 throughout the entire race.
Yeah,
pressure was immense. It was felt. It was slowing them all down. But ultimately, you still had a great race. Was there anything you were concerned about with the blue flags at all? Or what after that initial guy?
Yeah, I mean, blue flags here. Like the track's pretty narrow and it's hard to pass, so there's a little bit of concern. But everybody was super handled it really well, and it was a good race. We it's a lot easier to drive consistently when you're just by yourself. So that probably had a lot to do with it. Just everybody else was battling and stressing about people behind or in front of them, and I just kind of got to go on a nice little cruise. So. Gage was flying. Gage probably would have what happened to Gage in like turn 1? He spun.
He spun, and off of the review that I briefly did, I would say that he just cold tires and just spun on his own. He wasn't actually tapped. I didn't look like he got tapped by anyone from the view I saw. I think he was on the outside as well, and I think he just kind of like spun it. That's what it looked like to me. But that was towards the beginning of the race, and so it kind of looks all blurry to me. But he just spun it. He was able to get back to P3. I mean, he was on a tear. He was hitting fastest lap after fastest lap. I'm sure he would have caught you at some point, but he did have to go through a lot, and he did get held back a couple times throughout that race. And hey, I mean, great job to him finishing third after I think it was like 11th or something at some point.
Yeah, him, Peter. Even like Chitterling before first half of the race, Chitterling they probably had a little bit better like outright pace than me, but they had to deal with some blue flag stuff or battling, so it was a little bit easier for me to just cruise. But it's a fun race.
But
between good track,
great track, a lot of chaos that happened throughout the entire race. Some stuff you probably never even saw. But between you and Gage, who do you think had the fastest lap?
Gage had it, I think.
Barely. You did a
You did a
0.371 to their 3.45. So not as bad as you would think it was. It was very close.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jacob. Thank you for joining me, and congratulations on this win at VIR, the infamous VIR. We always have some fun stuff happen here, and this one did not disappoint at all.
Thankfully, no slurs this time.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
All right. Love you, Jake. Stay back.
All right. Love you too. Angel Manella Soto, thank you for joining me. P8. Fantastic pace, Angel. What a result. I mean, just sandwiched between pros, pro-ams, the likes. Your pace was strong. Your best lap was a 144.715. That was near on par with the other drivers that were having best laps and in your category, the top 10, also in the 144s, 144.5s, 144.4s, 144.6s. I mean, what was it about this track that gave you the momentum that pushed you towards it? Because you had Axel Marquez and Brian McGrath. You at one point it was P1, 2, and 3, and 11, 12, and 13th. What changed?
Well, I'd like to say that this race was pretty much picture perfect from my end. I do like VIR a lot, like in any car, and my practice during the week helped me find those missing tenths on the race.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of scary moments there that maybe I think it was on the middle of the race where I spun coming out of Oak Tree. Maybe a no word came out, but I mean, it was a really scary situation. But other than that, yeah, I'd say it's one of my best races in the league and maybe ever. Pretty much perfect on every end for me.
Well, sometimes it happens that way. Luck it comes and goes, and it definitely can shape up a race. But especially a 75-minute endurance race. We do one a season, and sometimes it helps or doesn't help. I mean, you're looking at guys that got crashed out on lap 1 and have finished better than the position they started in at the end of this race, which is what really matters. Putting in the laps, putting in the time, speed, consistency, finding the ways to get by other drivers. And, while you only had the 2 passes, I think one of them was one of the top 10 that just kind of crashed out. But beyond that, I mean, you're able to keep it in there, and you had so much of a pace that Matt Hissong wasn't able to really in at all towards the end of that race. You nailed everything, and what surprisingly for me is that P2 in your class was not that far off you. You're P8 and they were P13. And I know P6 and P9 for the Pro-Ams was pretty close as well, and we already know where the pros are at. But I mean, that's kind of really impressive to see how it all kind of ends that way.
Yeah, I had come in with the idea that I had to start saving fuel and tires from the first minute of the race. I knew that if I tried to keep up with the pros, then I would have ended up with cooked tires by the halfway mark of the race. So I decided to keep it safe today. My goal was the AM win, and it worked out in the end. Thankfully, the fuel save, the tire save helped me on the later parts of the race where I maybe lost a little bit of pace. The pit stops as well were picture perfect. I had a little bit of a mishap earlier this week when I was running on a GT4 race. I had an unsafe entry, so for tonight I decided to take it extra carefully, and thankfully it worked out. Just trying to make up from the fiasco of last week with Daytona, because I think it's just 2 races left and I really want to fight for the AM championship.
Well, you're right there in it in the mix. I hope it works out to see you get closer to it, and congratulations again for the AM class win, especially being in the top 10. That in itself is an accomplishment in its own right, having pro-am and AM class in the top 10. We've had the rookie as well from time to time, but rookies are unpredictable. But we know where the consistency lies with each class within the series, and to have each class have their number one driver finish in the top 10 is, a really cool feature to see in this type of sprint environment. Thanks again, Angel, for joining me. Congratulations.
Thank you for the stream. Thank you to Dylan, because he specifically asked me to win tonight, so this win is for him. But yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Love you, Jason.
Yeah, love you too, buddy. Thank you, and thanks, Dylan. Take care. Everybody, have a good week, and you're welcome to see all of our streams again. BWEC, not sure if it's going to stream this week, but if it does, it's going to be on Tuesday. Same time, Eastern Standard Time, the BWEC, that is the GTPs and the GT3 Championship, Multiclass Championship, and Endurance Championship. It's a great watch, great commentator, Evangelor Stecky in that one. Won't go astray watching that fun stuff. You'll love it. They're great with Nick Mazza, who has joined that one for the co-commentary. Then Thursdays we have another streamed event that is Mark Foley and Dylan M. Thomas. They are co-commentating the MX-5s, Mazdas, the Miatas, that championship. And if it's not streamed, but if you want to join our Oval series, ARCA Oval Racing is on Wednesdays. That is the admin running that is Joshua Grasso, and he's a great guy, and he's, I think, dominating that one right now, because Christopher Chitterling is not. I mean, Christopher Chitterling is also a dominating factor in the Oval series as well. But give it a go. And then there's Richard Byrne Rally. It's not streamed, but it is a rally series that we have here at Brooklyn Ring Racing League. I think the program is actually free, and that one's held up by Jacob Simmons, who's just won this race. He's the admin that controls that series. So join our Discord, and see you next time.